for my observation notebook, and for my observations, I went to Pinewood Elementary, Clinton Elementary, Frank Mitchell Intermediate School, and Lonoc Exceptional School. For kindergarten through second, I went to Pinewood Elementary in Jacksonville, Arkansas. For my third and fourth grade resource class, I went to Clinton Elementary, and then in Sherwood. And then for fifth and sixth grade, I went to Frank Mitchell Intermediate School in Bologna. And then for the special school, I went to Lonoc Exceptional School in Cabot. For my first observation at Pinewood Elementary in kindergarten, I walked in, but when I first got there, it was hard to find a parking spot and how to figure out how to get into the room. And then for once I got in there, the office people were really nice. I told them who I was and what I was doing, and one of the office ladies went and got the principal, and then she talked to me and told me the teacher I was going to see, and then I signed in and went. She took me to the teacher's room, and it was the first hour, and so the kids were still coming in. Some of them were coming in late, and the kids were actually eating breakfast in their classroom, and that was the first time I've ever seen kids eating in their classroom at breakfast time, and I'm just used to eating in the cafeteria in the mornings. And then the principal introduced me to the teacher, Miss Churchill, and she talked to her and told her who I was, and I was just going to observe for an hour. And so she told me I could sit anywhere, so I just sat down and watched. The kids were supposed to be finishing up their breakfast and working on this coloring sheet with numbers on it until everyone got done eating. And then for my first grade class, I was at Pinewood Elementary, and when I got there, of course the principal walked me to her classroom as well, and then they were in centers when I walked in, and so I just sat down, and the teacher was working on reading with each student by themselves, doing the testing where you have to read, see how many words you can get in 1 minute without any errors. And so while they were in centers, I just watched them, and I watched how the teacher interacted, and watched how she watched the kids. But the kids did really act well and did what they were supposed to. For my second grade observation, I was at Pinewood again, and they were on the carpet when I walked in reading a book, and the kids seemed interested into why I was there, and so she just told them not to worry, that I was just coming to observe, and that I was going to come observe because I was going to school to be a teacher. And so I just sat down and watched them, and some of them kept looking back at me and wanted to talk to me, but I just kept telling them to listen to the teacher. And so they did that, and then they went back to their desks and wrote a little in their writing journals for the day, and then after they finished that, they, as people were still writing, she told them to go back, because their notebook had different writing journals in them, and so she just told them to go back in them and finish the ones that they wanted to fix or add on to. So, and then for my third and fourth grade observations, I went to Clinton Elementary in Sherwood, or North Little Rock. It was kind of hard to find at first, and then when I got there, it was in the morning, and so when I got there, there was actually two security, police officers watching, letting out the children from the car riders and bring them into the building, which I thought was really good. And every school should have at least one or two of them, at least not if they're not doing the pickup or drop off, they should be in the building. But when I walked in, I was in the office, and the teachers were really nice, but in the office, I waited in there for at least 20, 30 minutes until I actually got to go into the classroom. And so I thought maybe there could have been a better way of, none of the office ladies knew everything that was going on, and so they didn't know who I was or where I was coming. And so I think the principal maybe should have at least kept a calendar out there in the office showing what was going on or who was coming, so they could have told me where I was going, and sped up. I know it's kind of out of the way for the principal, and it's more for them to do, but it maybe would have been helpful. And then so I finally got in the classroom. The teacher was already working with four boys, and so she forgot that I was coming that day, but it was good because she said I was that she was supposed to have a meeting that morning, and it got changed to that afternoon, so it was perfect timing. And she just told me to sit down, and she talked to me after they left, and then she asked if I wanted to go with them to take them back to class and get her, another student. So I thought that was really cool that I got to go do that. And then the students seemed to really listen to her, and one of the boys, you could tell, was like couldn't sit still, and he liked to blurt out answers when she would ask another student a question instead of him directly. But I really learned a lot. And then the 4th grade, there was just one girl, and she did not like to sit still. She was running around the classroom a lot. I thought, she said it was probably just because I was in there, which probably was the reason. But she was very at the beginner level of like reading and writing. She could barely write her name still. And she said this was her first year having this girl, so she was still learning how to work with her. But the teacher was really nice. And then for 5th and 6th grade, I went to Frank Mitchell Intermediate School in Bologna, and that was hard to find too as well. But once I found it, I thought it was really nice, and the building was really nice. It would be cool to work there, even though it's 5th and 6th grade. The office ladies were really nice. They just told me to sign in. They didn't ask for any ID or anything like that, which I was like weirded out because they had security people there too in the mornings. And so I walked in. She told me, she's like, "Have you been here before?" And she just said, "Go through the doors and go to the left, and you'll see her door." And so once I got in there, I talked to the teacher for a minute, and then she signed my permission slip, and then I just sat there and watched. And their classes are like an hour and 15 minutes long there, but it's kind of like middle school, but I just wasn't expecting it, because I kind of don't remember my classes being that long at the time. And this was a literacy class, and so they were working on, for 6th grade, because I did that hour first. And so they were working on literacy, and they were working on editing paragraphs, and this was like their first time doing it, so the teacher did it with them. And a lot of them seemed to there was only 4 girls in this classroom as well, and so it was a small class, and they seemed to get the mistakes and know, but they had trouble like knowing what the mistake was. They knew which word or what was wrong with the sentence. They just couldn't tell what was needing to be fixed on it. And then for my 5th grade at that school, Frank Mitchell, it was a resource math class, and they were working on the like place value, like tens, ones, hundreds, and there was 9 students, but one left in like the middle of the class, so there was 8 most of the time. And there was a couple of students that I could tell like had ADHD really bad, and one of the boys had hearing aids, and took medicine too because she had asked during the middle of the class if he had taken it, and one of the girls was like, I don't think he did because he's hyper, and so he probably had ADHD too. But this class was very wanting to get out of their seats, couldn't sit still, talkative, and it was in the morning too. And the teacher kind of seemed laid back, but then like when they would talk a lot, she'd be like, "You want to go run laps outside?" So I don't know how shook she really is, but she seemed really laid back to me when I was there. And then my last observation at an exceptional school in Cabot, I tried going a couple weeks ago, first time, and had trouble getting in because of the whole form, my treatment form. But I had that signed, and then she was still needing something else signed, and I didn't know about it. But then the second time I finally got there, and she let me go in, and there were two teachers in the classroom that I went in, and the kids were playing with toys or the children were in there playing, and then for most of the time, and then they went and sat down at a table and did this art project, and some of the children like to color or eat the crayons, and so that art project didn't last long, and then they went into the gym. They had a gym there and just got to play, and that was like the last 30 minutes that I was in there, and the teachers weren't very like watching the children very much, and I didn't think that they handled it very well. But I did learn a lot and see a lot. I didn't think one exceptional school, like the children were that. I thought they were going to be like severe, and some of them weren't that bad. But I did see some that were really intriguing and interesting.